Stay tuned for the biggest fish, the hottest bites, this week here on In-Depth Outdoors. With James Holst and Pat McSherry and the rest of the IDO fishing team. We're headed to the best fisheries across the upper Midwest and Canada. We'll fish longer, explore unfished bodies of water, and go further off the beaten path in search of the hottest bites in fresh water.
Look at that fish.
This is In-Depth Outdoors.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of In-Depth Outdoors. I'm James Holst. Now today's episode is one that I gotta tell you, I had a lot of fun filming this one. We're heading to the Mississippi River. My roots go way back with that body of water. I've always loved any time I get to spend down there in the river valley. It's with PJ Vick today and a new friend, Ryan Dick Bettinger. Ryan was a key part of making this shoot happen because on the Mississippi River, very often, if you don't get cold weather, the ice is gonna be a little sketchy. And of course, that's the scenario we're in here today. So we needed Dick to give us a lift in his awesome airboat. This is quite the machine. It's definitely the way to go anytime you're out there running around on sketchy ice, particularly on the Mississippi River. And today we're going to be targeting yellow perch. The Mississippi River has seen a resurgence, an absolute explosion of yellow perch populations from about Pool 4 down to the Iowa border. We're going to be on Pool 8 today near La Crosse. The water's low, the fish are concentrated, and let me tell you, I believe they are one of the most fun fish to chase anywhere out there on the ice. So stick around. I think you're going to love today's show. So from 2.7 to 3.5?
Yeah, that's about it.
That much water. Crazy.
It is skinny water. You know, on these low water years, that's all you need.
Right.
And
that's all they have.
Yeah, that is all they have. But most of these fish that we're catching are feeding on juvenile bluegills again. So this shallow flat with all these nice green weeds.
Lots of perch nummies.
Yes, lots of food in here. Oh yeah. We're just getting these lines set. Sun's not even up yet. And that is a beautiful jumbo right out the gate. All right. I think it's gonna be a really good day for us here. It's probably about a 12.5 incher on a medium shiner. Sounds like it'd probably be a little large, but these Mississippi River perch are a special breed of fish. They spend their times eating juvenile bluegills, shiners, shad. They are not at all afraid of big baits. Off you go, fatty. All right. He didn't even torture my shiner too bad. We're gonna catch another one on this one. But we just went through this line. We're on a big shallow weed flat, no flow, maybe 2.5 feet of water to 3.5 feet. Some holes, there's weeds right up to the top, some, you know, maybe 6 inches to a foot off the bottom. So we're setting these iFish Pros right over the weed tops. And instead of using our electronics to see what's going on, it's shallow enough, we're just checking down the hole. Look for a good hole, not too many weeds, set it just above the weeds. And that is the ticket. And big bait, targeting the bigger fish.
He on. Oh, that's quite the tussle. I brought my extra long-handled pliers here today. The average size is just awesome. How about them apples? That's a nice one. You need a minnow.
I do.
See you later, fish. Whoa.
There we go. Ooh. Feels like a pretty good one. Man, these iFish Pros are the deal so far this morning. These perch are just waking up. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Probably about a 13-incher. Big old drop belly on it. Them are the kind we like. Oh man, they're just choking these shiners. Awesome. We'll get that fat girl back. Oh, I love these river jumbos.
At Eskimo, we have the tools to help you enjoy your time on the ice. They say man needs food, clothing, and shelter. When it comes to shelter, we like the Outbreak 450i with its full-size no-trip door that's nearly 74% bigger than a standard door, making it much easier to load and unload. With 75 square feet of fishable area, you'll be warm and comfortable during your day on the ice. Check out the Outbreak 450i and our full line of products at geteskimo.com.
From the first time you pick up a tuned-up custom rod, you'll know you're holding something special. A rod not mass-produced, but built one at a time by the hands of gifted craftsmen. Rods like the Precision, ice fishing's most versatile multi-species rod, or the Precision Noodle with a tip so sensitive you'll never fish a spring bobber again. And the Commander, the rod that's never met a big fish it couldn't best. Tuned-up custom rods. Ice rods handcrafted for you and the way you fish.
Reed's Family Outdoor Outfitters in Walker, Minnesota has the hottest products for ice fishing at unbeatable prices. Everything from ice electronics, ice shelters, and ice clothing from all the top brands. And the newest lithium-powered augers with special everyday pricing on the Garmin LiveScope Ice Bundle. Whether you're visiting us in Walker, Minnesota, or placing an order online at reedsports.com. Our state-of-the-art distribution center ensures you'll get your order fast. Reed's Family Outdoor Outfitters offers the best service, best price, best advice, guaranteed.
Ooh. Not even paying attention. There we go. That's one of them eater ones. Probably getting close to 11 inches or so. Lucky for him, we're not eating perch today. So we'll let him go. So what I'm doing here this morning is I'm still using electronics because even though we're in this really shallow water, but I got my transducer set maybe 3 inches below the surface, and I make sure that's right in the center of the hole, and I have my rip and wrap right up tight against the transducer, the line going to the rip and wrap. And I'm still able to mark these fish. I'm still able to mark my bait. And you know, in this shallow water, would it be necessary? Not really, but I like seeing the fish and their reaction to how I'm jigging. And we are jigging rather aggressive in this water. I mean, I'm popping it, you know, pretty constant, always keeping it moving up and down, kind of doing the yo-yo. And I throw in a little 1 to 2 inch pop every once in a while. And that really seems to get these shallow water fish fired up. And for a perch, it is a very aggressive strike. You'd think you were about to reel up a walleye after one of their hits. They just pop it. It's pretty neat.
Heck yeah.
Game on?
That's a decent one.
They're feisty.
Yep. Yes, they are. Not a river giant, but pretty cool fish. He had me in and around the weeds. I got a hole here where the weeds come probably about 1.5 feet below the surface, but they're not so thick that I can't fish in and around them. I may have to move out of this hole because I think he pretty much did the whole weed whacker thing through all those weeds as I was pulling him up the hole. But such a cool fish. The colors on these perch coming from the river, they're just beautiful. If a guy was gonna keep a couple, that'd be about the perfect size right there. There, just a pretty perch. Get them all sizes. Of course, the average size today has just been fantastic. I mean, that's even towards the bottom end, up to that about 13-inch range. We've had some real fatties so far today. And typically with perch, midday until late afternoon's the best. Fire them back. When you're fishing in real shallow water like this, just a little tip, you know, you want to keep your transducer right towards the top of the hole. So my technique to do that, you know, if you shorten up your transducer cord and just throw your transducer over the side where it'll bang up against the side of the hole, it won't hang straight down. So I actually just use the float almost like as a lever to keep it up near the top. So you can see it's barely down in the water there. It gets it away from the edge using the float like that. So it works really, really well. So I'm in 3.1 foot of water. The transducer isn't even totally submerged. And as long as I fish near that transducer in the hole, I get this great image. I can see from about a foot below the ice all the way down to the bottom and see what the fish are doing in and around those weeds.
Ooh, there we go. Awesome, nice little fatty. Just came through and belted that rip and wrap. That's kind of one of the fun parts about fishing in this shallow water. You set the hook and they come flying right out of the hole. Nice chunker.
In-Depth Outdoors, Spot on the Spot ID.
On today's Spot on the Spot ID, we're on Pool 8 of the Mississippi River, and what I'm going to try to do is give some ideas on how to locate perch on what is a rather daunting body of water. As you can see on the map here, we'd have La Crosse up in this area, Lawrence Lake over here, just for reference. And the main channel is this large continuous ribbon of blue on the left-hand side of the screen. Between the Wisconsin shoreline and that main channel is this incredible maze of backwaters. And where these fish, these perch, will spend their time in the winter is in shallow areas with very minimal to no current. There's not that many places once you start looking where you don't have current running through the top of one of these side channels and all the way through the bottom. If there's any amount of current running through that little channel, you're not going to find perch in those areas. Typically where you're going to want to look is little bays that are isolated from any significant source of current. And those areas will typically be shallow and almost weed choked. In the area we fished in today's show, the bay that we were targeting, the small area, almost all of it was completely choked with weeds except for a very small open patch. And of course, there are perch in the weeds. They're just incredibly difficult to target. It's hard to get a bait past the weeds to keep it from fouling. If you fish an iFish Pro with a set line, the minnow will wrap itself up in the weeds and it's hard for the fish to actually see and identify your bait. So over the course of the day, PJ and I spent quite a bit of time actually drilling a hole, clearing the slush, and then just peering around the edges. The ice isn't very thick, so you can actually get a pretty good view just by looking down the hole. It's an old school method to go about it, no doubt about it, with all the cool electronics that are out there, but this is just super efficient and the eyes don't lie. If you can find an open area in the weed growth, that's where you want to be setting your set lines with those shiners or those rosy reds, and it's also a great place to jig. So keep these ideas in mind and be very careful out there on this type of body of water. The main channel, the ice is not going to be safe for foot traffic even. Definitely not a place you're going to want to try to cross with a four-wheeler. That's why that airboat today was such an important piece to our plan to get out on this bite and put some of those tremendous Mississippi River perch on the ice.
Introducing the new Pro Suit jacket and bibs from StrikeMaster. Built for the coldest, toughest conditions, the Pro Suit features a ripstop polyester outer shell that is as comfortable as it is durable. A puff liner jacket adds both warmth and versatility.
while integrated SOS Stay on Surface flotation provides up to 2 hours of flotation when the jacket and bibs are worn as a pair. Strike Master, the hottest brand on the ice.
Okuma Fishing Tackle offers a complete lineup of reels for the die-hard ice angler. The Okuma Samar 10 and Inspira 20 are a perfect match with your favorite panfish or walleye ice fishing rod. Both feature a long stem handle that fits comfortably in a gloved hand. Cyclonic flow rotor technology that throws water off the reel to minimize ice buildup. And a drag system optimized for use in extreme conditions. Everywhere, every day, every fish. Okuma Fishing Tackle is inspired fishing.
Does your sonar offer dual spectrum chirp, producing razor-sharp images on an ultra-bright HD display? The ability to tailor the display to the way you fish. Precision GPS functionality with legendary Lake Master mapping to move effortlessly from ice to open water. If not, you should be fishing an Ice Helix, the electronic system that offers all the features and performance successful ice anglers demand. Only from Humminbird.
Suffix Advanced Mono is now on ice. Our toughest and most sensitive mono ever offers 50% less stretch than standard monofilaments. That means your hook sets are rock solid, with virtually no line memory, no matter how cold the conditions. The line you choose is your direct connection between you and your next big bite. With Suffix, there's nothing you can't catch. Always use the best line. This winter, choose Suffix Advanced Ice Monofilament, the mono that thinks it's a braid.
It's always the furthest one in the set of iFish Pros. You know, the jigging has been a little slow this morning to start. Well, there's fish there. Heck yeah. Decent one. There you go. Nice fish there. That's been kind of about that bottom end average. Probably 11 incher or so. Beautiful fish. Great little river perch there. I need a minnow. What we did was we pulled all these shiners, those bigger shiners, off. What we were seeing was those bigger baits were just too intimidating for the perch and the mood they're in. So we downsized. We're fishing rosy reds. Kind of looks like a pink orangish looking fathead. So smaller baits, thinking that these perch are a little bit off, not quite as charged up as you'd want them to be. And that's reflected in you know, the jigging bite being a little slower. So that smaller live bait put that fish on the ice anyway.
There it is. Oh yeah. There's a slob. Yeah.
Look at this one. Buried in the weeds.
How about this stick?
What do you got there, Pete?
You got the back-to-back. Big old jumbo. I just switched up to that love bug because they were being kind of grumpy here.
Still got the rip and wrap on here.
Yeah, you're working. And that is a nice
beautiful
fat one.
Sure fighting in shallow water, eh?
It's crazy. I was looking at you and that thing came out of nowhere and just belted it. I couldn't have messed it up if I tried.
Coming up here and being a little less grumpy.
Yeah, we're kind of in our own little corner of the world up at the head of this hole in the weeds, and there's definitely some nice fish up here.
Absolutely.
Right on. That is a tubby.
Heck yeah, man.
There you go.
Awesome.
Right on. Fist bump,
hey.
shake, one to the other. Off you go. All right. Let's try that again, Dick.
Let's get some more.
Do you like that?
Oh, it's always the furthest tip up away. There he is. Oh, he ain't even that big. It's just a little guy. You run all that way, it's supposed to be a giant. You know what? That'll be a good one to take home. We just want just a couple here today. 10 and a half incher. Nice eater. Coming home with us.
There we go. Got him. Another chubby.
I didn't even know you were dealing with one over there. You're in stealth mode.
Yes. They're looking at midday right now, and I made a switch over to the VMC 1/32 ounce love bug, and it's the orange chartreuse. Probably my #1 favorite for the river up here, as far as color combination and for jig and plastic combination. I tipped it with a few spikes. The bite was getting to be just a little bit off on the ripping wraps, a lot of fouling around, and that's a telltale sign. You know, put something a little bit smaller, a little bit more finesse down there, and they're liking it. Get that one back. All right.
There he is. I'm right in the thick stuff. Midday here, these fish have really gotten, yeah, there he is. They've gotten lethargic, or maybe I should say they're waiting till the next peak feeding window. So it's pretty common, you catch a fish, you bring up some vegetation with it. And we're seeing a lot better results now. Midday, they're just not nearly as aggressive, so it's all love bugs with a waxworm. And we'll probably go back to those ripping wraps later tonight. That's just a nice little perch there. 10.5, maybe 11 inches. Great eater. We've decided we're probably going to take about a half dozen, 8 of these home. A couple people in the group here want to have a meal tonight, so we're going to be easy on them today. We'll let all the big fish go, take some eaters home. That's a great one.
Brandel GM in Aiken, Minnesota's only haggle-free Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC dealer, is a proud sponsor of In-Depth Outdoors TV. Our Brandel value price ensures that you don't have to spend your entire day haggling to get a great deal. And every new vehicle comes with our exclusive gimmick-free lifetime powertrain warranty. Whether you're in need of service, sales, parts, or body shop repair, stop by our state-of-the-art facility in Aiken or visit us 24/7 at brandelgm.com.
With the release of the tungsten bullfly jig from BMC, your panfish presentation just got buggier. By creating a spot-on invertebrate imitator destined to fool the most wary panfish. The tungsten bullfly jig is available in 9 colors to further accommodate today's angler, including 4 metallic finishes and 5 ultra glow colors, which hold a charge up to 15 minutes. This winter, match the hatch and outsmart the most finicky panfish with the BMC bullfly jig.
Glacial Lakes Dock is now Glacial Lakes Recreation. Located in Starbuck, Minnesota, we offer the same great location, staff, and service with a new name to better fit our ever-expanding business. As an authorized dealer and service center for Yeti and now Alumilite ice houses, we have you covered if you're looking for a new house or just need a little service. Stop in today or check us out online at glaciallakesrec.com and make this ice season your most enjoyable and comfortable ever.
There we go. Ooh. Just moved up into this really shallow hole. Ooh, that's a nice one. Another fatty. Excellent Mississippi River perch. Off you go, girl. I'm absolutely loving this love bug midday. It's definitely a confidence bait for me up here on the river.
Hey guys, iFish Pro, up by the airboat.
Give you a hand here, bud. Yeah, give him the berries. Oh yeah.
Oh, perfect timing.
Yes.
We were all just gathering to head back to the airboat for lunch.
Oh, very nice. Very nice, bud. All right. Excellent.
Nice.
Bye.
Oh, there he is. This one feels like a better fish. Oh, look at this. It's a big one. Come here. Oh, look at this sag-bellied thing. Come here, you. Just about destroyed that little love bug. Look at the fatness on that thing. I love it. That is a specimen right there. We're gonna let that one go. We will not have a problem at all keeping our eaters. And obviously that one there's got the future generation on board. All right, we're gonna fire that one back. That is the real deal there. Whew. You know, here on the Mississippi River, of course, food is never an issue. And by food, I mean for the fish. The growth rates are incredible. The mass of these fish at a given length, they're really tough to beat, you know, and this Mississippi River fishery is really coming alive, and there's a lot of factors at play there. One of the most significant is the Army Corps of Engineers, working with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, has invested a lot of time and money in habitat improvement. You know, the Mississippi River is prone to siltation, and by that, what I mean is you'll get areas that are off the main channel that make good wintering grounds where there's very little current, but those areas tend to fill in with silt during periods of flood water levels. So the Army Corps of Engineers is coming in, they're building islands, and then they're dredging out on the backside of those islands, and it's just a perfect wintering habitat for these perch. Bluegills, northern pike, bass, you know, all of the species that really thrive in Mississippi River backwaters are benefiting from this type of work that's been going on now for a couple of decades. And anglers like me, everybody out here today, we're the beneficiaries. It really is making a tremendous difference in the quality of the fishery here on the Mississippi River.
Feels like a nice one. Ooh, get out of there. Oh yeah. All right. I just switched back over to that number 3 Rip and Wrap in the glow shad color. It's getting to be late in the afternoon here, which has been a pretty good bite window where they tend to get a little bit more aggressive. So I went back to this more aggressive bait, and the proof is in the pudding there. It worked. I'll let them go. Off you go, girl.
So that brings us to the end of today's show. Had an amazing time out there on the ice with PJ and Dick. Dick, huge thanks to you for the lift out there on Pool Lake, keeping us safe. And I really want to take some time to offer special thanks to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for permitting us to film inside the fish refuge. It's not every day that you get to enjoy such a beautiful location and incredible fishing. And the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, working with the Army Corps of Engineers, has put a lot of work into habitat restoration and improvement. And let me tell you, we're seeing the results. So to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the Army Corps of Engineers, we salute you. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.
For more info on the latest fish reports, gear recommendations, and hottest techniques, connect with us online at indepthoutdoors.com or follow us on Facebook at In-Depth Outdoors. And if you enjoyed today's show, be sure to let our sponsors know.